All right, Logan, let's hop into the biggest news that's currently happening all over Twitter right now, and that is that it is being reported. Obviously, none of this is official until for at least a few more hours. Which, by the time you're listening to this, maybe it is official, maybe it isn't. But news breaking that apparently Brianna Stewart has reached an agreement with the Seattle Storm for a 1-year Supermax deal. Logan, your initial gut reaction, I'm sure, is similar to a lot of people's initial gut reaction, but tell us what went through your mind immediately as soon as you heard this news.
Well, first, it's big for Seattle. I think people are getting ahead of themselves and thinking about what that means for next year, and we'll talk about that. But it's a big deal for Seattle. It sounds like they're going to retain Bree Stewart, and signs are kind of indicating that they're going to hold on to Jewel Lloyd. Sue's going to play another year. I mean, that's a team that we expected to contend for a title last year, and they're bringing basically everybody back. So it's a big deal for Seattle. It's a bigger deal for free agent spenders in 2023 because now you've got a year runway to basically get your books and your team in order to make a convincing pitch to get Bree Stewart on your team. And if that means cutting somebody that you thought was going to be a part of your future long term in order to land Stewie, New York Liberty, I'm looking at you. That might be what it takes. She's going to be a hot commodity next summer. That's going to be fun to kind of keep tabs on this year. I think it's pretty undeniable what a 1-year contract means. It means the same thing it did when Emma Meesman signed her 1-year Supermax in 2020. We're going to talk about where she's at now, but I'll give you a little hint. It's not Washington. So that's pretty much what that means. It looks like she's going to have one more year in Seattle, and then she's going to take everyone's best offer next year. And I know the early favorite, as it is with every sport and every free agency, the early favorite's going to be LA and New York. It sounds like New York is really going to try to make a push to steal Seattle's core and see if they can add it to their young crop of youngins over there and put a title team together.
Absolutely. That's pretty much my same thoughts. Obviously, New York has been, in talks, and she's met with New York. So obviously, that's kind of a big deal there. I could also see some other teams that offer some big time, some big time upside. Could be a team like an LA or something in the future. Could potentially make a move there. I will say that that 1-year Supermax really is just hey, I'm gonna throw Seattle a bone for Sue's last year. Like that's 100% what it looks like to me. She doesn't want to lock down anything in the future. However, I think she still feels like Seattle is a contender, and maybe she's got a chance at bringing home a championship with the Seattle Storm before she likely goes ahead and moves on to another team in the future. But either way, some big news coming out about Bree Stewart. It sounds as though Jewel Lloyd is also looking to re-sign with the Seattle Storm. However, even though she's been cored, nothing seems super set in stone there. And she apparently also took a meeting with the New York Liberty. Logan, do you think that Bree re-signing this 1-year Supermax will have any bearing at all on Jewel Lloyd's free agency status, even with that core designation?
Do I think it'll affect the
Her
team she plays
decision.
for this
Yeah,
year?
yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, in the sense that I think Bree coming back guarantees that I think Jewel's going to come back.
Okay.
This indicates to me let's win one more together and then we're going to part ways. That's what it looks like to me. I think
Gotcha.
Sue Bird's final season is here. I think Bree Stewart probably knows that she can leave Seattle and not be a villain because she's already won the City of Pair titles. And I think Jewel's ready to either go follow Stewie somewhere else like New York or go be the A1 somewhere like the Sparks. We have been talking about the Sparks pending offseason in 2023 for like a year and a half on this show.
Yes.
And nothing has changed. I know we need to talk specifically about Jewel and Stewie and individual players, but I think it's worth mentioning because I don't see it talked about enough on Twitter. They are so quietly preparing to win every single free agent in not this offseason, but the following offseason. Right. If you go look up their salary cap, they literally have 2 players under contract in 2023, 2024, and it's Jasmine Walker and Arella Garentis. So it's literally, they're going to have all the money, and they're going to be able to say, hey, Stewie, we can give you the contract you want. We can give you Los Angeles, which no other team can do. And we can give you whatever other players that you want to put around you. We've got the money. And like they will come. And the Liberty can give her something similar, because I think the Liberty are going to be contenders and they're a little bit more established.
I think the Liberty are a little bit ahead in that process. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like, I think
but the Sparks are also going to fire Derek Fisher and probably let her hand pick. Like, if she wants to hand pick her head coach, if she wants to be the head coach, maybe, I don't know.
We've got like a LeBron situation going
on.
But
legitimately, like that, they can create that team in her image if they want to, or she can go join New York and be in a big market there and wear surf green and play for a team that I think this coming season is going to be really big and really convincing. So, and other teams are going to be in the mix. I think Minnesota has a chance. Like, if Sylvia Fowles retires and Minnesota puts together like their, hey, I've, Cheryl Reeve, I've won 4 rings, come play for Minnesota package. Mm-hmm. You never know. She will definitely be courted by quite a few teams. It's all speculation at this point. But it is worth mentioning. Like, I think those Seattle players are all kind of, I'm sure they're communicating behind the scenes and saying like, hey, Jules got the core contract. Bree's got the Supermax. Sue's going to turn in 1 more year and then probably be done. Why don't we try to run it back one more time, win $1 million in the Commissioner's Cup, like get it done, cash in as much as we can. And then the youngins will go. That's the second time I've used youngins on this episode, and I already don't like it. But Jules still has plenty of playing time left. Stewie can go have another career in a different city and be great. So all of the scenarios, like, you're going to hear him on this show. You're going to see him on Twitter. If you're on kind of the Twitter sphere, you're going to see a million different scenarios proposed that could be enticing for Stewie. It's going to be a fun exercise, but I think we shouldn't overlook the fact that she wouldn't go back to Seattle this year if she didn't think they would contend. And that makes Seattle a threat for the title again for 1 more year. And then they've got a serious rebuild on their hands, but we'll get there when we get there.